An expert says radiation cannot be seen or smelled. A junior high school in Tokyo held a special science class in September. An expert on radiation education gave a lecture at the request of the school's science teachers. They were hoping to hear ideas on how to teach about radiation starting next April. This experiment makes radiation visible. The white strands in the artificial fog are trails of radiation. The students are amazed. Radioactivity is measured in becquerels. The students learn about radiation through observations like this. Radiation can be categorized into alpha and beta particles, gamma rays, and others. Alpha and beta particles can be stopped by paper or aluminum. Gamma rays have stronger penetrating ability and pose bigger effects on the body. The biological impact of radiation is measured in sieverts. The expert says gamma rays can travel several hundred meters through the air unhindered. Teachers across Japan are now rushing to attend seminars on radiation. The teachers are desperate to overcome their lack of knowledge on the subject. This teacher says she knew little about alpha, beta, and gamma rays and much less about how they're related to helium nuclei and electron flow. One school has begun radiation education ahead of others. The Nitaki Elementary School is located about 40 kilometers from the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear plant. Teachers often discuss how keen the children are to learn about radiation. This teacher says the kids are already informed to a certain degree through television. The teaching staff isn't sure how best to teach the subject without a textbook. Principal Kazuhiko Hoshi is not an expert on radiation. Yet he's worried that insufficient knowledge and information might fuel prejudice and negative rumors. Every day, Hoshi clips newspaper articles to pass on information to parents and students. Hoshi says it's his duty, whether he likes it or not. He says the children will have to live with the invisible menace of radiation for 20 or 30 years. The principal one day went hunting for crawfish to help students learn about radiation through something familiar. He went to a stream where children used to play. No one goes in the water anymore because of high radiation levels. The crawfish were most likely contaminated. In fact, the radiation level inside the bucket was 5 times higher than that at school. Well, she says the figure is high. Could the crawfish be brought into classrooms? Hoshi asked an expert who'd been dispatched to Fukushima from Tokyo. The expert says it's important to distinguish what's inside the body from what's outside. He says internal contaminants do not discharge radiation outside the crawfish's body. The expert said radioactive substances on the crawfish's body can be carefully rinsed off with water. He said that although the creature could still be contaminated internally, children can touch its body if external radiation is at safe levels. Hoshi washed crawfish with water and confirmed that their radiation level had lowered to that in the classroom. He decided that the crawfish were safe enough to bring to the classroom. Hoshi asks the children if it's okay to touch crawfish containing radioactive substances. Some say yes, others say no. Hoshi says that until yesterday he also thought it dangerous. But he now knows that radioactive substances on surfaces can be washed away. To allay their fears, Hoshi told the children that radiation levels can be lowered if such substances are removed.
The school uses other class hours to respond to students' worries and questions about radiation. On this day, Hoshi was to teach students how food gets contaminated with radiation. Hoshi asks the children if they're worried about any kinds of food. This student says he learned from TV news that some mushrooms are contaminated with cesium. Mushrooms are special to the students, as they've grown shiitake mushrooms on old tree logs. But they gave up on harvesting the mushrooms due to fears of radiation. Hoshi says the children worked hard to grow shiitake mushrooms but did not eat them. He says this was because mushrooms easily take in radioactive substances. Potassium is an essential nutrient for mushrooms. In the periodic table of elements, potassium belongs to the same group as cesium. So mushrooms tend to absorb radioactive cesium. Hoshi used mushrooms to explain the mechanism of radioactive substances seeping into food. He explained that different vegetables take in different amounts of radioactive substances and told the students about farm products that are safe to eat. This student says knowledge is essential for fighting an enemy. He says nothing can be done unless people learn about radiation. Hoshi says he wants his students to learn about radiation actively instead of being taught passively. He says that would help them feel secure and keep going.